Good morning, students. Hope you are learning well and preparing well for your exams also. And today I am going to start a new topic. And before I start, let me show you something. Here it is. Here you can see I have written some sentences. Look at this. This is the first sentence. You can see. In this first, what is written in this first sentence? Can you see this? Lata is a tall girl. Can you see this is a Lata? And it is said that Lata is a tall girl. Okay. Now look at the second sentence. It is here you can see in the picture there are two girls. Okay. And we are comparing their heights. So it is written in the sentence number 2. Riya is taller than Lata. This is in the second sentence. Now we see. Can you see this here? Can you see there are a lot of girls, and there is one girl that is the tallest. So look at the third sentence. Palak is the tallest girl in the class. Palak is the tallest girl in the class. So here we have observed that if we want to compare two or more than two people, so then we need certain degrees to compare. Okay. So these words like tall, taller, tallest, these are the degrees of a particular word. You can see that tall is derived from the word taller, and then tallest. These all are the same, meaning the same, but there is a degree. Means tall is ordinary word, tall, but taller it indicates that somebody is taller than someone. Okay, and the tallest includes that it is tallest among all the given people. So these are the degrees of comparison. So today we will study in detail about these degrees of comparison. About this degrees of comparison. What is this degrees of comparison? So basically degrees of comparison we are going to study today, and what these degrees of comparison actually are. These degrees of comparison actually they are adjectives. They are adjectives, and adjectives, what are the adjectives? We have read it in earlier classes that adjectives are the words that tell us about a noun or a pronoun. Means if I say to you there is a boy, if I say that is a tall boy, or if I say that is a small boy, if I tell you something about the small or the tall word tells about the quality of the boy, how the boy actually is. So these are the words that tell you about the noun or pronoun. Like she is a brilliant girl. So brilliant tells about the quality of the girl, what kind of a girl that is. She is a brilliant girl. Okay. So these are what the adjectives. So and these degrees of comparison, they are also of adjectives. We are going to learn about these degrees of comparison. They are the degrees of the adjectives. This is to keep in mind. And now we have we looked at these three words. Here you can see that this Lata is a tall girl. We are talking about only one person, Lata. There is nobody else. So if we talk about only one person, when we talk about only one person, then it will become positive degree. What it will become? It becomes positive degree. It becomes positive degree when we talk about only one person. Then we use only positive degree. Then look at the second sentence. In the second sentence you can see Riya is taller than Lata. Now here there are two girls. When we compare two persons or things, then we use comparative degree. Then we use what? Comparative degree. Okay, so when we talk about two person or things, we compare two person or thing, then we use comparative degree. And finally, if we talk about more than two person or things, then we use superlative degree. Now you can see the third sentence. Palak is the tallest girl in the class. In the class there may be many girls. Okay, so here you can understand. Here you can see that in the class there are so many girls. So if you talk about more than two persons or things, then we use this superlative degree, the tallest. So Palak is the tallest girl in the class. Palak is the tallest girl in the class. So this is what the superlative degree. Now how the questions are asked to you. Suppose that they give you a sentence like Lata is a and they give here only space, and in the bracket they write tall. So what you will use? You see that only Lata is there, so you can easily understand that Lata is only one, so we can use only this positive degree. So you can use only tall there. If suppose that Riya is dash and then Lata, and in bracket there is a word tall, so you need to know that we use here comparative degree, then we will use taller. And if Palak and Palak is and dash girl in the class, you see that more than two people, then you use superlative degree. But when we use superlative degree, then we must be known with the degrees. First of all, we must know what these degrees are, then only we can use it. So first let me tell you what these degrees actually are and how we can convert one degree to another degree. Now these degrees of comparison, I told you that there are 3 degrees of comparison. They are positive, comparative and superlative. You can see in your book also they are given. And I told that these are the adjectives. These are adjectives. These are the degrees of adjectives that we compare. So now suppose that there is there is a first rule. What is the first rule says? The first rule says that we, by adding ER and EST, we can derive comparative and superlative degrees. Like positive degree, if it is tall, then we can add ER and we will get taller. We can get taller. We can get taller, and if we add EST, then we get tallest. So by adding ER and EST, we get comparative and superlative degrees. Now here you can see that we add ER and EST and we get the respective comparative and superlative degrees. Now we have seen that in the word here you can see that there is a word tall and we add ER in this. This er is added in tall and we get taller, and we get add est and then we get tallest. In the same way, we add er in small. There is a word small, then we get smaller and smallest. In the same way, we have another word that is bright, brighter, brightest, slow, slower, slowest, fast, faster, fastest. Only by adding er we get comparative degree, and by adding est we will get superlative degree. Now here comes the second rule. Second rule says that by adding r and st in the word ending in e, if a word ends, now suppose that if a word ends in e, then we need not to add er. We can only add r and our work will and we get that comparative degree. So if the word is wise, we are getting e at the end. You can see e is there at the end. If the e is there at the end, then we simply add r, then it will become wiser, and we simply add st, then it will become wisest. So there are certain words that end in e. If you find such a word and you need to make a comparative and superlative degrees, then you can add r and st to get the pertaining comparative and superlative degrees. For example, fine, finer, finest, wide, wider, widest. Is that clear? Now you can see this is the rule number 2. Now come to the rule number 3. Rule number 3 says that if a word end in y, then we change this, then we change this by into I. Then we change. So if we get a by at the end, then we convert this by into I and add er and est. Like if there is a word dry, y at the end, we change this by into I, dri, and then add er, drier and driest. Like busy, by at the end, we change this by into I, busier and busiest. And then you can see the word there is a lazy, by at the end, by change into I, lazier, laziest. In this way, if there is a by at the end, we can change this by into I and change accordingly by adding IER and IEST, and we remove by changes into I. Clear? Now you need to note that there is a note that if there is a vowel before by, if there is a vowel, you know, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, these are the vowels. If there is a vowel, there are 5 vowels, everybody of us know about it. If there is a vowel before by, then we do not change by into I. Then we do not change this by into I. If there is a vowel before by, now you can see there is a word gay, G-A, by there before by there is a is a vowel. You can see A is a vowel. Now this, so if the vowel comes before by, so we will not change this by into I and we simply add er, like gayer and gayest. In the same way, there is another word grey. You can see the word grey. Grey, it will become by before that E is a vowel, so grayer and greyest. We will not change it. Okay. Now comes the rule number 4. If there is a vowel before last consonant, then we double the last word. What the rule says? If there is a consonant at the end, means other than y rules we have read. Now if there is a consonant other than by, like What are all other consonants like D, uh, um, F, G, H, J, K, I? So I is a vowel. So other consonants other than by, if they are there, and before that consonant there is a vowel. If last word is consonant and the before that consonant comes a vowel, then we double that consonant. Like there is a word sad, is sad. D is a consonant, and before sad there is one vowel. Keep in mind, only one vowel is needed, not more than one. If only one vowel is there before the last consonant, then we double that. Like sad will become sadder, as a double D-E-R, and saddest as a double D-E-S-T. In the same way, if you see big, B-I-G, G is a G is a consonant, and before consonant single vowel is there, B-I-G, I is there. So we will double this last word G, B-I, double G-E-R, bigger and biggest. I hope it is clear to you. So if you find certain words like that, some more words are there, like red. You can see the red. D is a consonant, and before that consonant there is a vowel. We double this last word, redder and reddest. And like in the same way, fat, F-A-T, fat. T is there. T before T is there is a vowel A. So fatter, F-A-T-T-E-R, fatter and fattest. Now comes the next rule, rule number 5. What the rule number 5 says? For bi and trisyllabic words, we use more and most. We use more and most for bi and trisyllabic word. What are bi and trisyllabic words? So you simply understand, if the more than two vowels, two or more than two vowels are there in a word, then they are bi and trisyllabic words. Now, for example, you can see beautiful, E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L, more than two vowels are there. So this is a big word, bi and trisyllabic word. Means the word that could be that could have two or three parts. Beautiful, there are three parts. Okay, so this is trisyllabic word. So more beautiful and most beautiful. Like wonderful, wonderful, trisyllabic word. More wonderful, most wonderful. Like brilliant, brilliant. This is also trisyllabic word. More brilliant, most brilliant. So in the bi and trisyllabic means bigger words where the more than two or more than two vowels are there, you will use more and most to derive this comparative and superlative degrees. And there are the last rule. The last rule says that all different forms of the some certain words have got all 3 degrees different: positive different, superlative different, and comparative different and superlative different. Means you cannot derive from them by adding anything. You need to learn only. Like for example, for you see good, better, best. Can you see? We can't add. We are not adding anything in good to get better. This is totally different. Good, better, best. All are altogether different. So you need to learn these. Them they are given in your book. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. Little, less, least. Much, more, most, and so on. So these are your degrees of comparison. So you need to not only to understand but also to learn them so as to use them in your exercises. Now coming back to the point where we started this chapter today, that these degrees of comparison, how to use in the sentences. If you know that one person is there and you are comparing it, then you use positive degree and this positive degree, and if there is a or n it comes, then after you use only positive degree. If there is now there is a trick also. The first thing is this, that if two people are compared, like Ria and Lata, these two people are compared. If two people are compared, then we use comparative degree. And there is one thing that when you need to see that this then is always followed by the comparative degree. Taller than, taller than. Then THAN then will come if you need to use comparative degree. And if there is a superlative degree, there must be more than two people, means whole class. In the class there may be so many girls, so there we use tallest. And there is one more important thing that you need to keep in mind, is that we always the always comes before this superlative degree. Whenever a superlative degree comes, the must be added before it. This is to keep in mind. So while solving the exercises, you must find if the is coming, and after the there is a blank space and you need to fill, then you can easily understand that we need to fill in superlative degree, because the comes only in superlative degree. And if then comes, THAN then comes, then you can easily understand then comes in comparative degree, so we need to fill here in the comparative degree. Okay. And if A or N means one person is only there in positive degree. So if A or N comes, then you can easily understand there we use only positive degree. I hope these degrees are clear to you. Now you can solve the exercises given in your book, and then you will send in the work group. And any doubt you can ask me in the doubt session. Okay, thank you.